Hello everyone, I'm back in my hurricane shelter. Um, if you watched my last video, I showed you a lot of my stuff that, you can like carry in a binder and take everywhere. I did tell you that I have a lot of larger works, but before I show you those, there's a lot of other things I can do. Everyone knows I love Madonna and Kiss, right? So there's ways I like to put them together. So these are a couple interesting things that they is that you take a photograph of Madonna, and what I do is I print it out, and you go ahead and put Kiss makeup on them or on her, and I I I did thousands of these that I no longer have. These were um these were saved by my brother, and there's one with Ace Frehley makeup on her. I like this one, and then I have here comes the big stuff. Now I don't know how this is gonna work, but when I talk big, this you talk big stuff like so. Um, these are probably the best lips I've ever drawn. See if I can do this without reflection there. I think that's the best way. But shows you how big these are, like the largest things that I've done. Because you can buy a whole drawing pad with this size. I think it's the largest size you can buy actually. But in my last video, I talked about paperweight and everything like that. If you buy the large drawing pads that have like 50 sheets this size, it's usually going to be like low quality paper. So like I told you in my last video, is once you get something down and you want to preserve it, frame it right away. Like on here, there's this is, let's see if you can get it here, 2005 right here. So and it looks like just like it did when I finished it. Using or working with large works, you know, if you got to move them, travel them, whether you're in school or not or whatever, you have to get something to hold it in. So you have to get one of these. You can get like uh when I was younger and I first started, they have like little cardboard ones you can buy like um any kind of stationery store or art store or anything like that. They're usually made of real cheap cardboard. I had those for years, and I finally upgraded to one of these because that's the only way you're going to preserve these larger works. And it has like little compartments for smaller stuff in here, which where I keep all the stuff I showed you in my last video. And then we have the bigger stuff right here. I like to draw football players, and people say, "Well, why do you like to draw football players?" It's because not everyone is a big football fan or whatever. I like the challenge of drawing football players because they have the equipment they wear, the helmets and the it has all the buckles and the straps and all that and everything. And there's so much little detail that when people watch a football game, they don't notice all that crap. They're like what's the score, who's going to score next, and everything. When someone like me who I love football, but I also like to see the what do you call it, like the uniforms and everything, and just all the details, the way the lights reflect off their helmets and the buckles and the straps and everything. And I'll show you what I do with it. Just those images that I get in my mind and everything. Um, let's see here. Once again, it's weird, but I don't finish a lot of stuff because I don't really get paid. I call myself a professional artist because I have gotten paid. That makes me a professional. But it's not like I can earn a living from it. This let's see, where should I start? Back in the day, in my hometown in San Jose, there used to be a professional roller hockey team called San Jose Rhinos, and this was their logo, and it looks almost identical to their original thing. The only thing that's different is the gray of the Rhino. I never did because there was no way I can. There was no. This is all ink pen, and there was no gray ink pen that you can use without it if overlapping and make it a little bit darker than so there's I left it like this as opposed to trying to make it all gray when using a gray, which is a semi-transparent color, it wouldn't work. So it works better like this. But I just left it white, the Rhino white. But the original logo, the Rhino was gray, and that's why I never did it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but the Polish flag right here. This is the Polish flag here. Very good friends of mine are Polish, and I was going to do this for a uniform of a friend of mine. But when I used to work in screen printing companies, but it never came to fruition because my boss wanted me to pay for it and all that, which I felt kind of messed up because I worked there. Why can't I just do it on my own time for free? Back when we were playing roller hockey, me and my buddies coming up to, so this was that was a logo that I came up with for what was going to be called the Milpitas Mosquitoes. And I don't know if you can see, I had like lines up here where I could do the Milpitas Mosquitoes things, but once again, just, I have other projects I can get paid for, so why come up with something like this? And then, we stopped playing roller hockey and people moved on, so, we gave up. Let's see who we got here. Going back to ex-girlfriends, well, just not mentioning any names, but, obviously she's not around anymore. I mean, she's still alive, but, she's moved on from me, that's for sure. Here's going to the aforementioned football players I was talking to you about. There's two of them that I have. And these are the ones that actually took years to do. Because start and finish. I don't know if you all know Deion Sanders, who started with the Atlanta Falcons. Well, when I started it, he was originally drafted by the Atlanta Falcons and went to the Pro Bowl and all that. And then he ended up playing for other teams. But by the time I finished it, he already had moved on from the Falcons. But when I started it with up here. And then once again, like I told you last time, this is a perfect example of that border I was telling you about in my last video, about having things pop out. It gives it perspective and I don't know, it's a different look than just drawing it with with the stadium in the background and all that. It's just, to me, it showcases the player as opposed to making it look like a football card or an action picture, which I can do, but this makes it better, I think, because it just focuses on the player. Jim McMahon played for years. He was Super Bowl champion with the '85 Chicago Bears, but he played for I don't know how many teams, probably about 7 or 8 different teams. And for a while, he was playing with the Minnesota Vikings. So this is what I did with him there. It's the same format with the border. I use team colors on the border and this and that and everything, and it's pretty good. You can see the exaggerated musculature over here and all that, which I'm sure he would appreciate. Most of these are really old, so like I said, if you keep something good to contain them in, then you'll be fine. This thing that I'm about to show you is a surreal piece that, oh wow, I think I was like, I was in my teens when I did this. See, I guess that's what I used to look like right here back in the day. And let's see if I could move it away. That there you go. Kind of see it. There's no way I can scan anything. Well, I'm sure there's ways I can scan something this big, but there's really no reason. There's a lot of explanation behind this, but I don't really have time to get into it. Once again, my favorite football player, Jim McMahon. This is I was telling you all the teams he played with, which has different colors and jerseys from all the teams he had played with at the time. Uh, he started out with the Bears. He played with San Diego, Minnesota, Philadelphia, Arizona, Cleveland, Green Bay. You know, you name it. It's on here if you look at it real closely. And all those sponsors are up there on his jersey. Once again, my favorite band, one of my favorite musicians, Ace Frehley from Kiss. Another unfinished piece of work here. That this is one of my mother's favorites. She found this. I don't know where I had it. I was at my brother's house, and I was staying with him for a while, and for some reason I just abandoned this, and it was sitting there, and I had it just like thrown away on the floor or something like that. But she saw it one day and picked it up and took care of it, put it in like a nice little folder, stacked books on it to flatten it out because at one time it was kind of all wrinkled and everything. But she did a good job of preserving something. Someday I will finish this, but and it's hard to distribute this because all this. Gene Simmons would sue my ass, for all this. I did company I work with, a printing company I worked with for almost 25 years. Um, when I first started there was like 40 employees, and they had like 10 machines, and it was a really big company. And then by the time I quit, it had been like I worked there over almost 25 years. By the time I left, it was only like two machines, like 5 employees were left, and it was just a shadow of itself. And I don't want to get into the reason. I know why it went down, and people that worked there know why it went down. But this was back when there was a lot of employees there, and this was actually one of our Christmas party shirts that the boss wanted me to do. So I worked with all these people, and let's see if you can see me. I'm right. Where am I? I'm right. Oh, here I am over here. I'm right here. Over there, and you can see my hair, and there's all these people that actually work there, and I think out of all these people, only one of them is left. If the company's still open, I'm not sure. Anyone who's been to Hearst Castle knows how beautiful it is. It's a very, very beautiful place, and um, I told you in my last video I don't really paint that much because I have control issues with it, and I've been drawing for years and I can manipulate that. But painting, I'm kind of shy with because I'm not very good at it. But this was the Hearst Castle, and you could tell, I did a good job of the sky there, and there's still you can see if I just do something by pen, ink, or pencil, I'll just do it freehand. But when it comes to doing something like painting, I'm gonna have to, give myself some sort of outlines, because like I said, I'm not really good at painting, so I have to, um, I can't just freehand it like I do, pen and ink or a pencil. Um, I'm gonna have to finish this. I don't know when I will, but this is acrylic on that. You can buy these, in an art store, pretty cheap. You can buy them like I think I got excuse me, 3 of these for like $6. But that was a long time ago, so I'm sure 3 of these now would probably cost like 10, $15. But these are the to me, not being a really, really good painter, it's better for me to get these than the pre-stretched canvases, which you're going to pay 30, 40 bucks a piece for only like a little album size kind of thing. Um, let's see here. This is a good example of. This is old. This is what I used to keep my work in. Um, just a little. It was actually the back end of those big old drawing tablets. Yeah, you just cut the last piece as a piece of cardboard. You got just cut it in half, taped it together, and it'll keep all your stuff. You can keep photographs, anything in here, and it won't get bent. You know, that's the worst thing you could do with artwork. Is get bent. And actually, oh wow, there's some stuff in here. There's some stuff in here I'll have to show you. We'll hold on to that. Here's another one of my excursions into what do you call that? Psychedelic artwork kind of stuff. That this is very very old, very very old. This I think I was still in high school when I did this, or just graduated from high school when I did this. Like I said, I talked about paper. This is a really cheap kind of paper, but if you really take it, this was in a frame for a long time, and like I said, if you want to preserve something, frame it or keep it in a nice tight little binder like that one I just showed you. Let's see, this an ex-girlfriend of mine that I don't know, I'm not sure what happened to her. And let's see, what else do I have here? An unfinished Madonna. Once again, I know this is getting repetitive with Madonna and Kiss, but this was unfinished. This is pencil. This is big, big time, big size. Most of the time, I gave up on the stuff because, number one, I wasn't gonna make any money off it, just for myself. But most important, I get bored with it, especially when I get these big projects, and I'd be like, "Wow, I'm gonna do this," and blah blah blah. And then, you know, the bigger the project, the more time it's gonna take, and I would just get bored with it. So, you know, obviously, I'm not gonna get paid for it, so I can just walk away from it. Why I kept it? Because I always have intentions on finishing all this stuff. But to be honest, I might not. We'll see. I love maps, video games, and there's different video games out there that have maps on them and stuff like this. This is an old Gulf of Mexico map. This has the old world, um, when the Spanish first came and actually discovered Mexico. These were all the original names of the cities and all that. You can see the detail that I did. I liked I had to use the calligraphy pens for the for all the writing, and then you can see down here where it's not done. A lot of times I pressure myself into doing stuff, and if it wasn't perfect, then I would just stop. Here's another one of the same vicinity, I believe. This was the first version I did, and you can see my little compass there, and then you can see all the points of entry I did down there. All those little dots are where the cities are, and the capitals and all that. Going up the coast there, and then you can see where I actually started them. And I gave this up actually because I made a mistake somewhere on here. I made a mistake in. He just pissed me off, so I stopped. I think that's gonna do it with the larger works, because let's see what I have in here. Oh wow, this goes way back. What's his name? This was who was this? Amen Amenhotep the Third. This was I can't read the date. It's all kind of ripped down here, but this was probably sixth, seventh grade. You know, I was still learning how to shadow and do stuff like that. So that was his name escapes me, but he was the father of the Egyptian, the boy king. His name escapes me, but that was his father. You might want to let me know what his name is. I know I'm just blowing it. Let's see what's this right here. This was going to be a T-shirt design of a car club, an SS car club, and I found out right away that I wasn't going to get paid, so I just stopped. A lot of people used to like to say, "Hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?" And unfortunately, I got burned maybe once or twice, and then I stopped doing that now. Or then I said, if you want me to do something, we can compromise. Give me half now and then half when it's done. But I was stupid enough to go ahead and draw the entire thing, thinking that people were going to pay me. And it only happened to me a couple of times. Don't get me wrong, but still, it happened once is, more than enough. Oh yeah, I was going to show you what was in here. So let's close this up. This I told you I worked for a printing company. In order to take drawings and stuff like that and actually put it on a T-shirt or burn it onto a screen, you have to do with them film positive. So these are some of the things that I did. Now you saw this one earlier. You saw the original of my self-portrait that I had done, and let's see, it's all stuck together here. And then what you do is you burn it to film, like so. I'm sure some of you might know this, some of you might not. If you already know this, then don't get bored, please. But you take the picture that I showed you in my last video, and you burn it to something like this, and you put it on the screen, you shoot light through it, and then you can go ahead and print it on a shirt. That was the back print. The front print was a little pocket print that, wow, it's been years. Oh, look at all this stuff on here. This was the pocket. That's me right there. I don't know if you can see it. A lot of people have this shirt. I've been trying to reboot it. I know I have the artwork. I have to get in touch with my connections. I'm gonna redo these. I did this for my 30th birthday. It has the 30 Roman numeral down there. So now I'm like 23 years older. So I'm gonna have to reboot it and figure out the Roman numeral for 60 or whatever. The rock band I told you in my last video I worked with, we did shirts, and this was the original logo that I designed, and we did these on shirts. I don't know how many I did, but I do have some still. I don't know where they're at. This was a hypothetical tour shirt when they played in 1983, and that was the Uncuffed was the name of one of their songs, and I came up with the I3, taking the I from Infinite and the 3, using the chains, and down here is the axe from the previous band, White Axe. That's where that came from. This was the previous entity of this thing, group. And then the two hands pulling the handcuffs apart. and that's about it for now. So the next video I'll actually start drawing stuff. So just be patient and it'll come very soon. Thank you.